We can sync data across devices, we can save our data over time, and we're operating on a free tier, so there's no charges. Google AI Studio just got its biggest upgrade yet. It's now an all-in-one app builder. Before, it was a sandbox, great for prototyping, but if you wanted to make it multiplayer, you wanted to bring in more users, you had to use other tools and then combine them and make sure that everything worked. With the latest update, Google AI Studio is now a full-stack app builder. But what does that mean? Hi, my name is Callum, also known as Wanderloots, and welcome to today's video on the new Google AI Studio, building full-stack apps. Google AI Studio was excellent as a sandbox, but it was missing three key features: a backend with database and authentication so you could have real users, a coding agent that could handle the complexity of a full-stack app, both front and backends, and a way to share with friends to test your app before making it live to everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you how all three of these problems have been fixed and explain why they matter. If you find this video helpful, please like, hype, and subscribe, as I really do appreciate your support a lot. You enable me to continue making these videos, so thank you. Now let's explore the new Google AI Studio. The biggest shift is that Google AI Studio is now a full-stack development environment. That means we're not just building a front end, a user interface, we're now able to build a server and a back end and connect different features together. The easiest example of what this means is with the new Firebase chip. With one click, Google AI Studio automatically builds two things. First, Firestore, a real cloud database where your app's data actually lives. Second, Firebase Auth, a complete login system with Google sign-in built in. And this matters because authentication, or Auth, and a live database are what enables you to take an app from a single-player mode to multiplayer, where you're sharing information and keeping the users separate. Without them, every person who visits your app is a stranger. There's no way to keep them separate. And the data that they generate can't be synced across the ecosystem. It just stays within their particular browser, so there's no way for you to make it multiplayer. With them, each user has an account and the data is saved. You've gone from single player to multiplayer, from a prototyping app to a real app that's ready for users. I thought that the best way to demonstrate the full stack app upgrade to Google AI Studio was to show you. So let's start building an app. We can see here we have this option to add database and auth. So I'm going to click on that chip, and right away, it's brought in that we have these two elements that I mentioned, the Firestore and auth with Firebase. So this is adding into the prompt to Gemini that we want our app to have these features. So this is already going to trigger a full stack app build. So I'm selecting the model of Gemini 3.1 Pro Preview, as I'd like to start with the Pro model to get the initial app built, and then maybe I will switch over to the Gemini 3.1 Flash Lite to execute more features just to efficiently use up my tokens. I thought that a good example for today would be a typing test app, because this is going to show you that we can have multiple users sign in and save our scores into a leaderboard. That should demonstrate that we're tapping into the full stack system with Firestore to store the data and authentication to track the users. Let's click build. So we can see that overall the system looks pretty similar. If we open up the thinking on the side here, we can see here that it's already setting up Firebase. So this is using a new agent that I'm going to talk about in a moment. So just while you wait for Gemini to build, you can scroll through and take a look at the different options here on various tips on what else you might want to introduce into the system. For example, if you're doing a typing test, having a quote difficulty selector might be a good idea. So it might take a little while for it to build, but at least while it's building, it's giving you ideas on what else you could architect, what else you could build in the rest of your system. Great, here we go. And this is what I wanted to show you. We can see that it's already popped up saying, would you like to enable Firebase? And of course, you should always check out the terms of service of whatever tools you're using. We get the option here to learn more if we want. It takes us to the actual Firebase documentation. This is where you can learn more about what it's actually doing with adding a backend to your Google AI Studio app. So I recommend exploring the docs if you want to learn more. But we get three different options here. We can sync data across devices, we can save our data over time, and we're operating on a free tier, so there's no charges. So I'm going to click yes, enable. So this is just letting the agent set it up, but you can always go directly to Firebase yourself in the future with the app that you've then connected to Firebase, and you could make modifications if you need to. I'm going to click yes. And again, we can click into thinking, and it's focusing now on setting up the Firebase infrastructure. Let's let that run for a minute. So we can see that it's already set up the Firebase blueprint, which is how the data is going to be stored. We have the display name, profile picture, email address if needed, timestamp, all the things that we need to build this app. And if we go back on the left-hand side here, we can learn more about how we're setting things up with Firestore, which is the database system. And this is where we get into the full stack component. It's able to actually run and install these packages within its server right here. All right, there we go. So that took about 5 minutes to build. We can see it's built something called TypeRacer And it has authentication. It's integrated Firebase Google sign-in, so users can authenticate with Google and then save their scores. It has a typing test engine with the ability to actually detect if we're typing something correctly or incorrectly. For example, I didn't capitalize the there. So this looks pretty good. So it says that it's built in the typing test engine, which looks like it's working, and a real-time global leaderboard where we have a snapshot of all the different people that have connected and saved their scores. And a key element of introducing authentication in a database with a backend is that we have the Firestore security rules so that you can only submit valid scores to your own username. So now if I click sign in with Google, it's going to pop up with the Google Zero Auth. I'm able to actually sign in. Great. And there we go. It's showing that I'm already signed in as Waterloo. It's using my same Google account. So that's pretty cool. So what just happened is in the backend, I was able to log in, connect to my server, store my username, sign in. And now if you click on Firebase console here, it takes us over to the project that we're working on. And we can see on the left here that we have a users table stored. So this is cloud storage that's now directly connected to my Google AI Studio application. So that's pretty cool. But that's only the first feature that I wanted to show you. If we take a look at the action history here, you can see that it looks quite a bit different than the previous Google AI Studio. That brings in the second upgrade. Now, all of that only works because of what's powering Google AI Studio under the hood, the Antigravity Agent. And I want to be clear about what makes this different. When you hear new AI coding agent, you might just think it's a better version of Gemini, but it's not. It's actually a completely different way of dealing with information and context so that your app is built more effectively. The difference is what's called verified execution. Previously, the AI would generate code and then hand it to you. You'd run it, test it, find out what broke, debug it, and then repeat that 5, 6, or 7 times until the feature actually worked. A large portion of the quota, the free tier that you had in Google AI Studio, was often spent debugging. Now, the Antigravity Agent writes the code, runs it, and goes through verified execution to test to make sure it actually works. And if it doesn't, it'll fix it. It's an autonomous loop, and it'll run without you having to do anything. I've had it run for 10 minutes straight without me having to do a single thing while it built a new feature. That might be why some people feel their quotas are lower in Google AI Studio, but you're watching an agent do in one session what used to take 5. Context awareness, multi-file management, verified execution. These aren't just vague terms. They're the reason it feels like a fundamentally different tool. The Antigravity Agent comes from Google Antigravity, which is Google's desktop coding platform. It's honestly an incredible agent-first builder with its own free quota. And I have a full Antigravity playlist if you want to check out how you can build full-stack apps within Antigravity as well. But for now, why don't I actually show you how this works in Google AI Studio. Just a quick reminder to please like, hype, and subscribe if you find this video helpful, as I really do appreciate your support a lot. Okay, so we've already set up everything inside of our TypeRacer, our typing test app. We have the ability to sign in and persist our data storage into Firebase, into our backend database, and our user authentication. And if we go to the side here and open up the action history, you'll notice it looks a little bit different than the previous Google AI Studio. This is not just the front-end Gemini agent that we used to have in Google AI Studio. This is the fully powered Antigravity Agent. It's able to connect to all different kinds of things like the Firebase integration or other databases. And you'll see here that there's the option for secret management as well, which lets us connect to any other API, any other application that we're allowed to connect to, we can now connect to in Google AI Studio. And what's really cool too is at the end, once it's done, you can see it ran quality control. So that's the Google Antigravity Agent running a test within the system to make sure that it works properly before presenting the new preview to you. So that honestly saves me so much time to not have to go through and manually test everything. Of course, you're going to have to go through and click buttons, but at least we know that the code compiles correctly. Why don't I add a couple more features here just to quickly show you more about how the Antigravity Agent operates. Okay, so I asked it to add a few more features: dark and light mode toggle, responsive for mobile layout, so that if we click up here and go to mobile, it looks good, which honestly it's not too bad. And then also adding a difficulty level for the prompt and suggest some other features. So we can see here that just like before with Google AI Studio, it's going through and thinking about what it wants to do. So this is operating a little bit differently in that it's going through and planning everything. Right now, it's not actually executing on any of the code here. We can see that on the side. So this is where it brings in that agent loop where it's able to plan what it wants to build first, and then it's going to execute on it and then verify what it's executing. And there we go. So now it's actually beginning to execute on the code. So we can open this up here and we can go back into the ability to see all of the details on what it just thought and what it planned, or we can click hide and we can see the actual execution of the code here. So it's up to you if you want to show those details or not. And you can always click into the code instead of the preview if you want to see exactly which file Gemini is currently editing. And there we go. It now has built in that dark mode that we just saw. And again, we can see that it ran quality control. So that just completes that verified execution loop like I was talking about. And it's able to handle multiple files and maintain its context all as it builds. This just significantly improves the quality of the execution. It might still take a couple minutes to execute, but at least what it's executing is accurate. So now if we switch over to mobile, let's test that. That looks pretty good. Still has a side scroll here, but that's not too bad. We can see that everything compacted correctly. We can toggle between light and dark mode, and it brought in a longer quote. Also, if you recognize this quote, let me know in the comments, as it's from one of my favorite all-time books and movies. So we now have the option here to toggle between easy, medium, and hard, and then we have a suggestion for future features. So honestly, these all look like pretty good options, and I'll consider adding them in the future. But before we do that, I want to quickly talk about the third upgrade. Now, the last major feature I want to show you is actually one of my favorites, the share button. The share button lets you take your app multiplayer easier than ever before. The share button lets you have real people test your app without you having to make it public. That's normally called deployment, where you have to set up a whole system to get your app live. The share button skips the complicated deployment. You click share, it generates a link, and whoever opens that link is connected directly to the same app running inside your AI studio. It's kind of like sharing a Google Doc. Anyone with the link can open it, and you can all see each other's changes live. It's the same idea, but for any app that you build in Google AI Studio. Whether you want to keep the app just for you and your friends, or you want to beta test it with users before taking it live to everyone, the share button just really makes multiplayer testing a lot easier. Okay, so I just added a few accuracy updates here, and now I'm finally ready to share the app. So that button I was just talking about, you can see that up here. If I click Open Sharing Settings, I can either restrict this to only specific people are able to open it, or I can make it available to anyone who has the link, which is exactly the same as if I were to share a Google Doc, if you're familiar with that. Great, so the app view has been changed successfully. I can default so that it opens in full screen, and now I can click Copy Link. And here we go. So if I open it up in a second tab, we can see here that this app is from another developer. Be cautious and continue. Don't share personal or sensitive information. So just standard safety systems. I click Continue to App. Now I get the option for me to sign in. Great, there we go. So I was able to just sign in with my other user here, which if I expand that, we can see it's also called Wanderloots for that email. But what I want to show you is now we have two users who are in the exact same app. So I can submit a score for each and then see how they compare in the global leaderboard. So let me do that for a second. There we go, not bad for Wanderloots 1. Now I'll click Submit Score. So now if we go down here, we can see I had my test one that I tried a few minutes ago, and then less than a minute ago, Wanderloots was able to submit this with a word per minute of 122 words, 96% accuracy, and it took me 30 seconds. We have this live connection because we have this backend server running. The database is automatically updating and automatically serving the app with the data. Now let's make sure that the database works to accept a new user. Here we go. Not quite as good, but a little higher accuracy. So you can see here now Wanderloots 2 is number 2 and Wanderloots 1 is number 1. And you could change it too. For example, I could sort this by higher accuracy wins, for example, but I just think it's so cool that I didn't have to actually go through and deploy the app for me to be able to test this with another user. Honestly, this looks pretty good. And you can let me know if you're interested in testing this out, and I'll make the link available in the description and the comment to see how quickly you can type. And if we go back over to our Wanderloots 1 account and scroll down, we can see that the leaderboard has automatically been updated with the other attempt that I just had. Honestly, that's awesome. That just saved me so much time to not have to go and set up Firestore manually and authentication. The fact that I can now test this without having to actually deploy it also saves me a ton of time. And if you want to make this more complex, perhaps you want to pull in quotes automatically, that's where we could go up to the settings here, and we could go over to secrets, and we could connect to a different API where we're able to pull in quotes or connect to other data systems if we want to. So the secrets is a huge element here, and I highly recommend exploring that as an option because it really opens up your building to a whole other level. This secret section is also what enables you to connect payment methods like Stripe. You're able to set up your Stripe test account and verify that the payments actually work inside of your application before making it live, aka deploying. Let me know if you want me to make a full tutorial on adding payment methods to your application, otherwise known as monetization. We can also push this to GitHub if we want to, which I talk about more in my deploy video. And we can publish the app if we want to actually get this to be fully deployed. So if we click Get Started, this is where we get into projects and cloud billing. And all of this is what I talk about in my How to Deploy Apps with Google AI Studio, so I highly recommend checking that out if you're ready to take your app to the next level and make it public for everyone. Today's video was just a brief overview on all of the new features in Google AI Studio. I am working on making a full stack tutorial video, and if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see in that full tutorial, please let me know in the comments, as I really appreciate your feedback, and it helps me hone in on the features that people are most interested in. What would you like to see me build? Just let me know. In the meantime, if you're looking for more strategy on how to build in Google AI Studio, I do have a How to Build Apps in Google AI Studio that goes deeper into it. It is specifically for building a front end, a UI, but the strategy still applies for back-end development as well. Just a quick reminder to please like, hype, and subscribe if you find this video helpful, as I really do appreciate your support a lot. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.